Hey guys, thanks for checking out the podcast. Before we get started, I want to remind you about the very cool bucket list trip I am doing in 2026, the Smitty Learns Irish podcast, where I'm going to do my bucket list, hike Ireland for a year, learn about Irish history, town by town, through the mouths of the pub owners and regulars. Because what's a better way to learn about something you love than to experience it yourself? Patreon.com/we the number 3 Smiths, only $3 a month, and thanks for checking it out. And welcome to the Rock Radar. Hey, patrons, how's it going? I am stoked. Really, really stoked to finally check out something live from the Devin Townsend Casualties of Cool album featuring Aimee, Shay, golly, gee whiz, why can't I remember that? Shay, Aimee, Dorval. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. I think it was one of the first things. Hyperdrive and Daddy were the first two things I listened to from Devin Townsend back when I did a twofer reaction. And fallen in love with Devin Townsend, obviously. And I've listened to this Casualties of Cool album 6-7 times. I don't know, man. I fucking love it. And I love Shay, Aimee, Dorval's voice. And then the songwriting with Devin Townsend, obviously. How much songwriting Shay, Aimee, Dorval does, I'm not sure. I could have looked that up, but hey, you know how I am with research. And look, I am serious about going down these rabbit holes, man. I am obsessed with rock and roll. I am obsessed with the history of rock and roll. So one thing I'm going to be bringing to Patreon is live set reactions like I am right now, but like cool stuff like this, behind the scenes stuff. I want to see some documentaries occasionally about bands and rock and roll. So that is something that I'm going to be bringing to Patreon. And I just want to get into it, you guys. That's what I want to do. I just want to get into live from the Dunlop sessions. I want to give this a subscribe and give them a like too. I'll try to put the link in the description of the video. But fucking, let's do it. How many songs on this performance? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I think there's an interview session in there too, perhaps.
Casualties just kind of started. For me personally, I was so overblown with all the work. I was doing a record deconstruction that was just tons of angular arpeggios, and it was exhausting mentally to do. So I'd come home at night, just play a telly, and and sort of revisit the more sort of Americana sort of vibe. But it was always like middle of the night when I had an opportunity to do it. And then as a result of that, the moon and the idea of sort of a mixture of this folky thing, but what's underneath the surface of that being this unrelenting horror seemed like a really appropriate thing. And
I've said this before, that I really feel like Devin Townsend is August Rush grown up, if you've never watched that movie. It's just a legitimate musical fucking genius, man. And just to hear people, because I don't understand music, but I love to learn about it. So when I can hear somebody smarter than me explain things kind of in a way I can understand them, sort of like Forrest Gump, it's fucking awesome. I just love to hear the insights from people like this, I
thought, well, fuck, maybe I should just get a hold of Che and see if she's interested in it.
Che.
Because we'd worked together on the album Key. That it was no drama. It was really easy.
And for me, lyrically, I think I was just trying to convey where I was at that point in my life, which was, it was a dark time for me. What was I doing? I was like working in a nightclub. It was always raining. And then when you sent that, it was like, wow, this is literally the soundtrack to my experience right now. And it just started the wheels going.
It's an intersection too, right? I think that's why it works, because the whole album was done over the internet. She recorded all her vocals at her house. I recorded all my stuff at, home studios or when we were out on tour. So, we didn't meet.
Detached.
Yeah, it was totally detached. And I think that's ultimately what ended up defining the sound of that first one as well. It's it's in the shadows. There's this sort of element of like a haunting. There's this element of like,
Did they do another Casualties of Cool album? He said the first one, so I don't know if there was like, if there's multiple projects. If there is, I gotta find that immediately.
death. There's an element of we're together yet we don't interact. Plus it's, I like it. I like that cusp of it being something you listen to when you're chilled out.
Yeah.
But also it's if you're not careful, it's gonna bite you.
It's
Man,
fucking
I dig
true. It 100%. Because I listen to that when I just want to fucking chill and relax and like forget about things. I get fucking high and I just sit there and fucking get down with this album. But it bites. 100%. I just said watching genius. Seriously, watching that guy do his thing, and the first time I ever saw him live on Deadhead, I want to say, just you can immediately fucking tell. And there's not that many people that I watch live, and I'm just like this all the time, consistently in awe, consistently. That's the person I want to fucking watch because it is a master of his craft, just showing a command over like songwriting and performing. It's fucking incredible. Seriously, I mean, before we get into this, the backing tracks. Let's talk about backing tracks. There are people that feel very strongly. Like I've heard musician friends of mine being like, I don't want to see them because it's fucking backing tracks. And then they have like this sort of superiority complex because they're musicians. The person doing the backing tracks are not musicians. And I always thought that was really fucking narrow-minded and stupid. I'm like, who gives a fuck? They're two people. You don't need to have a band behind you necessarily. You know what I mean? You made this music and recorded it and played it in the back so you could just sit there and do your thing. You know what I mean? It's just as fucking awesome. It's just as fucking musical. People need to fucking open your rock and roll minds, my friend. Sometimes I get all sing-songy. Sorry. voice specifically, but just those harmonies, along with the instrumentation and the vibe of it, are so fucking hypnotic. The beat, the driving sort of beat as well. It is fucking mesmerizing, and I'm really happy I'm doing this right now. And she's no fucking slouch either. You know, I really need to learn more about her. That needs to happen. Damn it, I love this song. This is so good, it's ridiculous. I love how fucking behind the scenes this is. not sure of the name of this song. I'm not going to scroll down to find it and break the video. Sorry, guys. What the hell? Everything!